Hello everyone, this is Frank, reference librarian at the McAllen Public Library, and welcome to Tech News. Today we're going to be talking about smart homes and also about 4D printing. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to be making two book recommendations for some new arrivals that we have here in our library. So without much further ado, let me go ahead and show you this very interesting article. Let me go ahead and share that. Okay. Here is our article. It's called What is a Smart Home and Why Should You Want One? So, smart homes can save you up energy and money. For example, there are some thermostats that automatically control the heating and cooling of a home, which I think is really cool. So, depending on the room temperature outside and how many people are in and what rooms are being occupied, that smart thermostat will be able to adjust the temperatures. Um, Again, this reduces the homeowner's bills. And also, there's another feature you can have in your home, for example, connected lights, which can save power and energy by lowering the intensity of the light or turning them off entirely when not in use. So that way, if you're like me, that you forget to turn off the light when you leave a room, you would be greatly served by having a smart home. Another thing, obviously, makes having a smart home can make life simpler and more comfortable. So you can use voice commands to turn on lights and devices, or to you can use location rules or sensor detection, and you can even use schedules. You can even schedule, like, that when you're going to sleep at 11 p.m., that the light has to go off at that time in all places of the house or wherever you want to. Another benefit of having a smart home will be security. So connected lights and cameras can scare people off or looking at your house and to find ways to get in. Cameras can be very intimidating for people, so that certainly helps. And then the other thing is handling everyday home tasks. There's a lot of tasks at home that can be very tedious and time consuming, and you will be better off doing other things. So you can use a Roomba from iRobot that can clean up your floor. You can use a laundry machine that starts washing clothes in a schedule, or you can have a fridge that, I think this is really awesome, a fridge that orders milk when it detects that you're running low on milk. I think that will be really cool. So it orders it online with a computer. So as soon as it detects that you're running low in milk, the computer, the AI in the computer goes online and orders some milk to be brought to your address. Of course, there could be some privacy concerns related to that, but I'm sure that that's going to be solved, hopefully. And then the other thing, obviously, is entertainment. So you're wondering what product should you get? There's several products out there. I would recommend you that you browse out there. Some examples are Google Assistant, Amazon's Alexa, Amazon Echo Dot, or Google Nest Mini. Those are some examples, and there's several others. Um, you can get some smart light bulbs, smart thermostat to adjust your temperature, a smart doorbell. Um, and also, it's recommended in this article that you get a device that centralizes all of these functions. In other words, something that is connected to all of these devices and coordinates all of these rules, set of algorithms that you set up with it. So yeah, that's what it is about smart homes. I think it's a really cool thing. It kind of makes your house come alive in a way. Like you're not gonna feel alone at all because you're surrounded by all these devices adjusting things for you and looking at you and protecting you. So I think this is a really cool thing. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was 4D printing. 4D printing, it's a fascinating idea. We have all heard about 3D printing at this point, or a lot of us at least have heard about 3D printing at this point. So again, if you have watched my previous videos, 3D printing is some kind of additive manufacturing in which you're adding layers upon layers to create an object. And these layers are predetermined by a computer program, by a digital file. And you get an object by just adding all these layers, as opposed to getting a piece of matter and then cutting it out to carve your object, which can produce a lot of waste. So 3D printing is very eco-friendly, it's very green, But there's also another technology that is based off on 3D printing, and it's called 4D printing. So more on that right now. I think this is fascinating technology. Uh, you might be thinking that this is absurd or something, but all that it does is that 4D printing adds one more dimension to 3D printing, which is the time dimension. This involves movement. Um, and these objects can change their shape as time goes on based on certain stimuli produced by the environment. So these stimuli can be water, light, magnetic fields, or other chemical signals. And when these items are triggered in a specific way, these objects can fold or change shapes in many different ways. So what is the difference between this and 3D printing? So again, this might sound crazy. This might sound like this is something out of a science fiction movie, but it is fundamentally the same as 3D printing, except with the difference that these objects, again, they change shape over time, and 3D printed objects have a fixed shape. So the way this works is that there's a geometric code that instructs the object on how to move and how it will respond to environmental stimulation. And again, these are smart adaptive objects that respond to the environment. So going to more deeply to how this 4D printing works, um, you need to understand the nature of the materials you're working with. So how do the materials react to the environment? That's a very important question to ask when asking about how the workings of 4D printing. So first, the object is 3D printed, and then it is pre-programmed with a geometric code that will do its job by dictating the reactions of different parts of the object. Um, Engineers can create objects that change shape depending on environmental signals. So let me show you. Let me show you an example here. I hope that you can see it. But this is a 4D printed cube that is going to fold by itself after we put in water for some time. I think this is really neat. Let me see if I can see another example. Let me pull this for a little bit more. That way you get an idea. You see what's closing. Okay, one more time, in case you didn't get it. There you go. Let me see if there's another example here. Yeah, so this object, let me. So just read the text. That's a chess king, and this is increasing temperature, and just look how it shrinks based on that environmental stimulation. And then they're going to decrease the temperature, so now it's going to expand. That's it. Um, so imagine using this for smart homes. Imagine you had something in your smart home that could be reacting to stimulation. So, for example, imagine you had a 4D printed bed or a bed with 4D printed elements that could maybe make your life more comfortable based on, for example, the temperature of the room and also based on the seasons. So when it's winter and your room warms up, your bed could perhaps become more comfortable, more soft, could become softer. Same thing in the summer by decreasing the temperature, making your room cooler. Again, the bed could become softer. It could be also triggered by um, many other different things. I think, I mean, this is just an example that I just thought about right now, but just imagine the possibilities. Just keep that thought in mind. Imagine using 4D printing for smart homes. Um, so what materials can you use for 4D printing? So one example is hydrogels. And these are, as the name implies, hydro means water. So these are mainly composed of water and they are biocompatible. That means that they're well suited for medical applications. Um, and also they're applicable for soft robotics and other flexible electronics. Also, there are the shape memory polymers, which are mentioned right here on the screen. And these are materials that have the ability to shift from a fixed or temporary shape to another shape when stimulated by the environment. So other applications can be in aerospace, soft robotics, and biomedicine. So very similar fields to the hydrogels. And then there's another one that is really cool, the ceramics. I thought this was very interesting. So the ceramics are basically 3D printed ceramic precursors, and they're printed with an ink which can be stretched 3 times beyond the initial length, or any amount of times really. And the applications again can be for electronics and for aerospace. So going a little bit more into more detail into what applications can you have for the printing, one of them is aerospace. So 4D printing can be used for self-deploying, for air ventilation, engine cooling, etc. For example, for space missions, imagine a self-folding antenna for a space station or for a spaceship. You know, in the International Space Station, you have those antennas that kind of fold. Well, you could use for the printed technology to get a trigger based on sunlight or based on lack of sunlight. I don't know. And then it could be used for defense purposes for the military. Imagine military uniforms that can adapt their camouflage or protect against toxic gases. Obviously, medical applications. These are always some of the main applications we was talking about. So there's some research from MIT in which they created this 3D printable ink with magnetic microparticles. So what this does, it enables the building of remotely controllable structures. So you can get something inside your body and it can be guided with magnetism to remove blockages or to extract tissue samples or to deliver drugs to specific parts of the body. There's also the automotive applications. So in 2016, BMW futuristic car involving 4D printing was developed. Um, Let me see if I can find it here in the article. That part of it. Okay, I'll leave it here. So they use 4D printing to produce a car components that can adapt to different or changing environmental conditions. So they created an inflatable 4D structure that can self-adjust based on changes created by air pressure. But then there's car seats, which involve 4D structures that can adapt to provide comfort and safety. And I think this is what that is. There's little cushions here. And then the last application is consumer goods. So there are these self-assembling tables or chairs. So imagine having this for IKEA. Instead of having to assemble it yourself, it can assemble itself. I think that would be really practical to have. So that's it about 4D printing. Now I want to show you some of the materials we have in our collection related to 3D printing. So one of them is called Make 3D Printing Projects, Toys, Tools, and Contraptions to Print and Build Yourself. So here's that book. This is a book that recently came in to the library, and I know that because of the green screen, you can kind of see the background of it. Which I mean, I guess it looks kind of cool, but there's a bunch of green in here that causes this to be kind of transparent. Um, so yeah, this is a really nice book. It has a lot of illustrations and examples of things you can do with instructions. Just take a look in here. You can come by to the library and ask for this to check it out. This is a really, really good book, really good material. Um, this book was recent, I think. It was 2015 or 2016, but it has a lot of good ideas in here. A lot of little projects that you can do. You can do with your kids. You can do with yourself or with your spouse, friends. Um, I think this is really cool. It's kind of like a robotic, um, like a robotic pod for to put your plants in there. Or it looks like a robot. It's not robotic. It looks like a robot. There you go. It's the finished product. All right. And then the other book that I want to recommend is called Make, Design for 3D Printing. Here's the book. This one doesn't have any green, so it's not going to become transparent. Um, this one was copyrighted, or it was written in this edition. There's several editions. Oh, this is from 2020, so this is fairly new. This edition of it. The first edition was sometime in 2015. Anyways, so this one also has a lot of really nice illustrations on there. Um, about the 3D printing components. It has a lot of information about 3D printers. There are some designs here that you can take a look at: the Eiffel Tower, the spheres. Yeah, so more designs involved. Um, there's this 3D scan thing going on. I don't really know what it is. Never heard of it, but it's worth checking out. So if you want to know more about this, you're welcome to come to the library and check out these books. So again, to reiterate, one book is Make 3D Printing Projects. The other one is called Make Design for 3D Printing. Make Design for 3D Printing. So just come here to the library and check this out. You bring your library card, or you can put a hold on it. You can call us at 956-681-3000 and be asked to transfer to the information desk. And you can ask to have these books put on hold for you, or you can come by in person and you're welcome to check these books out. I highly recommend them. So without much further ado, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. I hope that you all enjoyed, and I wish everyone a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you very much.